I'm sitting here with Rick Mahn, a Minnesota blogger, at the Minnesota Bloggers Conference, first ever.
First ever.
And so let's just get right into it. What is your blog? How do people reach you?
Absolutely. My blog is rickmahn.com. It's RICKMAHN.com.
Okay.
And, one of the panelists earlier talked about narcissistic, and ultimately, I mean, that was it, is find your vanity URL, and I did that early on.
Well, I tell everybody they have to .com themselves. So,
Yep.
Yep. So what is it? What is it you blog about, and then how did you come to blogging? Why did you start blogging? What prompted you?
Well, it was interesting. Actually, it's technology. So I'm a big tech guy. I was in IT for 20 years, and it kind of got me interested in a lot of different things. From early on, it was just computers, and it was networking in the 90s, and then we got into, fast Y2K, it became all the Web 2.0 stuff. And I got into blogging mainly to really explore the whole idea. I was worked a lot on the back end on corporate systems for messaging and just tying things together and remote access for VPN. But then, we started getting to web-based stuff in 2000, 2002, and it started intriguing me. So I started looking at what RSS was, how I could get more information and inform myself for my job. But really starting to explore not just this technology stuff, but here's what all this stuff does.
Right.
So it was then another explosion in my head of, it's not just the technology, it's what all these things are empowering people to do.
Right.
And I started realizing I had a few things I wanted to talk about technology and exploring personal branding and learning and meeting people. So for me, beginning in 2004, I finally got the courage to create MSN Space at that time, MSN Spaces.
Yep.
And, started blogging tentatively and just finding out, hey, there's lots of people out there like me just finding out, meeting people and sharing their ideas on things. So that's where I kind of started from.
Right.
And from there it's moved into, it turned into a corporate focus on social media for a little while and a lot on personal branding from 2006 through 2008. And right now it's really going back to, I need to talk about personal things and career. So, and I find blogging to be a great outlet for that.
Sure.
Being able to really just express thoughts and get feedback and, oh, you're crazy, you're not stupid, and hey, good for you, whatever it is.
Sure.
It's expanded my my professional network of people from back in the IT days. I maybe knew 30 people here in town, but now I know 5,000 people nationally.
Right.
And that's the power. That for me has been the biggest thing that blogging unlocked.
Yeah.
And Twitter and all these other things are great, but it was really blogging that let me open up a new venue, a new career,
Right.
and meet people I would never have met in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding. The things I've learned from them, I try to pay it back.
One way you're paying it back is you spoke about how this network is doing for you, creating your own network through blogging, but you're creating networks for a lot of people through a social media breakfast.
Yes.
So why don't you talk about social media breakfast? You're a founder of the local version of it. So how did that start about, and what is it, and how did it start?
And that started from blogging. And like most things do, Brian Person was one of my contacts and people I met in 2005 or so. And we started I commented on his blog, he commented on mine, we chat a little bit. And over time, I think it was summer of 2007, he decided he'd like to get all those people he met locally in Boston together, and so he created the first social media breakfast. And I watched that from afar, and we watched on Twitter, a couple people live tweeted. And like, Brian, if you know somebody in Minneapolis, this would be great. We've got a great community here. It's like, Rick, you're it. And I'm like, so like I said, being an IT guy, I don't know how to put those things together, which has changed now. But yeah, so that's where it started from. And social media breakfast has really been the great opportunity for all of these great bloggers and great social media people in Minneapolis and St. Paul to get together. And we meet and we find our strengths and we've shared ideas. And I've seen people walk away from events with jobs. I've seen people walk away with events with new business ideas and partnerships. And I'm glad to be a part of that. I'm humbled to have seen that happen. And
Well, it's been remarkable the way that's grown. So it's once a month meeting.
Yes.
In the morning with the breakfast and bacon usually, and
Usually bacon.
and talk, and it's gone from what, a handful of people to hundreds now.
Yep, we started with 15 people. We've been averaging about 325 at some events earlier this year, and membership online is over 2250.
Amazing. So what have you learned from your blogging experience? What's the biggest thing you've learned?
Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid of being wrong. Don't be afraid of being stupid. Because ultimately you'll learn from it. And my biggest thing of being self-conscious was I was afraid to open up and share ideas. Whether somebody's going to steal it or I'd look stupid. But the reality was I met people who helped me grow into a better professional and things like that. So those are the things I've really learned from it, as personal relationships and personal growth has been huge for me. And I just like seeing that happen with everybody else and sharing stuff.
Sure. So as a professional, what's your day job?
Day job is trying to be a social media strategist, large and small organizations. Also do community development. I'll figure out the hows and whys with social media. Maybe it's a non-profit organization or a school district, and really understand, get them past the concepts or the perception of what social media is and what it can really be used for. It's just another series of tools for us, like a telephone, fax machine, or email. It's just another communications tool, and helping them figure out how to use it then. That's what I do.
Okay. So, as a longtime Minnesota blogger, as a longtime blogger, for somebody thinking of starting a blog, or for somebody just starting out, what's some advice you'd give to them?
Just start. Simply start. If you've got friends who are actually doing it, they can give you a couple tips to get started. But you can do a free account on probably 5 or 6 different services that have high quality, easy to use. Don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to write masterpieces. You could just write little one-sentence blurbs. I think Teresa Boardman always talked about her favorite blog is her photo blog. Yeah. She uses her phone every day. She's taking a picture in a little, sawdust flower or whatever it was. And it could be anything. And maybe it's podcasting. You just use a little digital recorder and record something and post it. So we have a lot of flexibility in what that is. You don't have to write, 500 words. It can be good, it can be bad. Just start, and once you've started and you really are passionate about telling a story or relating something, you'll get better at it. Because as a writer, you only get better by practicing it.
So, again, your website is?
rickmahn.com.
And you can be found on Twitter at?
Rick Mahn. Right there.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk.
Thanks a lot, David.
All right.